was like, pew pew! Pew 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 pew! What's up, Soap Suds? Welcome back to another episode of the Geek Soapbox. I'm your host, Lee Ponton, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Leva Bates!
Yeah! Welcome back to the program. I don't know why I said that twice, because I felt like you needed to be welcomed again, because this is a very super episode.
Ooh.
See what I did there?
That's what we did there.
CBS recently revealed the Supergirl costume for their new Supergirl show from the same producers that are making Arrow and Flash. We still don't know if it's set in the same universe. Maybe yes, maybe no. If it's of the caliber that those shows are, it's going to be great. I have utter faith.
I'll be honest, I'm not as excited as I was for Flash. I've just never been, though I do love the 80s Supergirl movie, but that's because it was so terribly bad. I love terribly bad movies like Teen Witch, Supergirl, like all of those. Grease 2 is one of my favorites, so maybe this will be the facelift it needs. I never really read a lot of Superman comics or Supergirl comics for that matter. I mean, I loved Smallville. So despite not reading Superman, I loved Smallville. And then I really loved when Supergirl got reintroduced to the DC universe in Batman Superman. Michael Turner drew it. Michael Turner is so amazing when he draws people. He makes everyone beautiful. Yeah, so I think his redesign of Supergirl really reintroduced her to the world. Supergirl back on people's radar after a long absence. Supergirl getting her own show. Costume was designed by 3-time Academy Award winner Colleen Atwood, who also did the costume designs for Flash and Arrow. Good job, Colleen. Exactly. I enjoyed those very much so. But it's always risky. That first photo of a new superhero costume has got to be one of the scariest things ever. Most exciting. True. Very true. I didn't really follow Arrow when it first came out, so I don't know the initial hype or whatever that happened then. I remember the Flash stuff. That I do remember. I liked it from the get-go. I thought it looked great. I was apprehensive. I kind of saw it, and I'm like, it's okay. It wasn't until I saw it in motion that I liked it, to be honest. I was like, because I'm still, I got Ship's costume in my brain, I got the comic book in my brain, I'm like... Ship's costume always looked like it was made out of velvet. I love that! I wanted to hug him! Back in the day when I was a kid watching the show, I was like, that looks like superhero, that's awesome! But looking back on it now, it's a little chunky, it's a little clunky. But even as a kid, I remember thinking, why is his costume fuzzy? And I just wanted to hug him. Because it was fuzzy! Skip ahead, skip ahead. I initially liked the new Flash costume. I thought it looked cool. Again, I looked at it and I'm like, the headpiece is weird. But then he got it, he put it on, you saw it in motion. I'm like, I'm on board now. Sold. Same costume designer designed the new Supergirl costume. What did you think? I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of a little underwhelmed. She looks like she's wearing her grandma's costume. I'm gonna agree. It looks a little frumpy. Yes! Something about it doesn't hang quite right. I particularly don't like the leggings. And I think part of it is the boots are so high. I feel like the skirt's really long too. If she's gonna have on leggings, then the skirt could be a little shorter. The boots don't have to be quite as high, the skirt doesn't have to be quite as long, so then you're not seeing very much of the pants. Begs the question, why are you wearing pants? It's weird. My favorite's Michael Turner's, the boop. Midriff. Yeah. Maybe that's not suitable for younger viewers, but... I know they're going for a female-driven superhero show that can be a role model. I get that. I appreciate that. I almost get the feeling that this show is probably going to be more family-friendly than Arrow or Flash. Yeah. Maybe we just have to see her in flight, or have to see her wear it and kick some butt. I'm willing to give it a chance, 100%. I just think that maybe they didn't pick the best photos. I think that close-up of her is not a particularly flattering photo. She's a gorgeous girl. Something about those photos is not good. I just think they could have picked better pictures to show us. I'm gonna wait to see it on the show. Exactly. I just think that the publicity people could have probably picked a better picture. Or waited. Right now, unimpressed. So, with that being the topic of this show, we thought we would run down our top 3
favorite comic book costume adaptations?
Hero, though. We
Hero,
decided
that's
to
right.
narrow it down and not do villains. Because that can be a whole other show on its own.
No, we'll save that for another day. What's your number 3?
For number 3, I went ahead and kept with the universe we're in. And it's from Arrow. I'm choosing Arsenal's costume. Because that is sharp. That picture they showed us before you even saw it on them. That's
now
gorgeous.
that was a good publicity photo.
Yes, that was. That was a gorgeous piece of work.
That was a wonderful photo.
It is a gorgeous piece of work in action. It's beautiful. As soon as I saw the picture, I was like, I have to make this costume at some point.
The way it fades from red to black, it looks
how
sweet.
sharp the little, like, it's so beautiful. It
is a sick.
That's one of those. That's a solid, beautiful costume.
My number 3 are the uniforms from X-Men First Class. When the first X-Men movie came out, it was like, oh, colorful superhero costumes aren't going to work. We can't go with the traditional blue and gold, so we're going to make everybody in a uniform black leather. Which I think worked. But then First Class came out, and they managed to make the costumes in the traditional blue and gold. And it works. They still use that uniform look. They're practical costumes. They make sense. They're not spandex.
They took them from the comic book world, but made them in real life.
Yeah. It works for me, and I like it, and I said, wow, that's an X-Men costume.
My number 2, Rorschach from Watchmen. It looked like they went real life. Boom. And there you go, perfect, like dead on exact. I mean, I'm sure it was all special effects and stuff, but I love the mask. The mask, how it changed when he changed. That was one of those they basically just plucked from page to screen, and it actually worked because he's such a gritty character anyway, such a gritty comic. You don't have to worry about the whole spandex thing.
Right.
And then the fact that it was a little bit later on, so we're able to do the technology, so they were able to do the weird stuff that happened in the comics too to his face. So it was just perfectly done and blended, and yeah.
My number 2 is Captain America from Captain America: The First Avenger, not Avengers, because I loved his costume in Avengers. I thought it was great, and I loved that he was able to flip his hood back and have it sitting there like he does in the comics. The reason I picked the one from First Avenger, is it just made Captain America have such a bigger presence.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like his costume in Avengers slimmed him down a lot. Even though he was still jacked and really buff in that movie, I feel like something about that costume just made him look smaller. Whereas his First Avenger World War II costume just made him look like a big badass.
I can see that.
And I thought that it was also really well done in that the colors on his uniform were actual, you know, like straps. Or his helmet was actually a helmet.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't just, here's a Captain America costume.
Yeah.
Everything was practical.
Yeah. My number 1 for best costume, it's one of my all-time favorites. It's Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman from Batman Returns. I was obsessed with this costume. I was obsessed with this character. I was obsessed with all of it. It was one of those, I took a chance and it worked. It didn't look like the comic book. They did their own thing, and my god, it changed me forever. I legit tried to make that myself. I had a pleather jacket I cut up like she did, and I tried to get the really white stitches, and I was trying to stitch it together, but I didn't know what I was doing because I was like really young. And I wanted her claws. I had the things I could pop in and out, but I couldn't find them, so I got thimbles with like needles, and I stuck them inside my glove. Sometimes it stabs you back, even though it's 20 size on the out. The thing is that she was so frumpy as Selena Kyle, but then she was just so slick and slim and shiny and badass as Catwoman. It was just such a 180.
My number 1 is going back to where we started.
What?
I think my favorite superhero costume adaptation has to be Arrow. It's so well done, and it's not overdone either.
That it's almost not downplayed, but a little bit.
It's a really dark shade of green. Like it's not like green. It's not like Justin Hartley Smallville Green Arrow.
No, that's a cute costume. Not bad at all.
It was fine. It was great.
And
but it was like, I'm Green Arrow. Green.
Well, that also worked for that show. That show was a little bit like that too.
It was a little over the top. This is a lot more realistic again, like, functional.
Yeah.
You know?
Are you talking about pre or post or both with the mask?
I like it with the mask. Not having a mask and just having the grease paint, it's not... that's not realistic. That would never work. And I think the mask is really well done too. You know, it just looks really good. The whole costume looks really good. Probably one of the best superhero costumes I've ever seen.
What is the worst?
So we thought we were gonna make separate worst lists, but then we got talking about it, and we pretty much agreed on the worst superhero costumes. Even though now that I'm looking at it, our number 2 is not a hero, per se. Regardless.
Start off as a hero.
Alright, so we're going to go with it's fine.
Number 3!
Number 3! That might have been offensive. Number 3. Sorry if you were offended.
Halle Berry's Catwoman.
Oh, now everyone's offended. It's pretty bad.
Hey, can we make this as trashy as possible?
Why?
I get angry when I see people in Halloween wearing that costume.
Why? What is that for? And then her pants with the, like, rips.
That's okay.
I don't know, they look too manufactured. It didn't even look like she ripped them herself. It's like she went to the craft store and got one of those craft punches to punch shapes with, and she just punched a bunch of holes in her pants.
That was just a terrible movie anyway, so might as well have a terrible costume to go with a terrible movie.
It wasn't good.
Number 2.
Number 2. Jean Grey from X-Men The Last Stand. Her costume in that movie is neither Jean Grey nor Dark Phoenix. Nothing about that costume screams either of those characters, other than it was red. God,
and then so you're like, oh hey, we can't use Scarlet Witch. Doesn't make her look like Scarlet Witch.
I know, I feel like that's kind of what they were leaning towards. She had like a red corset on and like some flowy sleeves or cape or whatever. Okay, kind of looks like Scarlet Witch a little bit, but that's not Phoenix! For crying out loud, in X2, her black trench coat had a phoenix embroidered in the back of it. She had a phoenix necklace on. At the end of the movie, there was a firebird under the water. But then in the movie where she was actually Phoenix, no phoenixes to be seen!
No fire,
anywhere!
No phoenix, no
none!
Anything!
Zero!
Why? Why
at all?
Why would you set this up to be awesome and then let us down? And well, you know how I feel about X3. You all do. So,
and you guys know that I don't hate that movie. And I get some of the things that they did. You didn't have to make the Phoenix costume per se, but it could have been
homage?
Some sort of homage. Any Phoenix emblem, something a little bit closer. Didn't hate it, but I don't like it. And our number 1 worst superhero costume goes to any costume with bat nipples.
That's distracting. Who thought, hey, let's put nipples on this? That'll look really cool.
And again, what you just said makes a lot of sense. If you're fighting bad guys and you come up at them with a costume with nipples on it, they might be like, what the hell? Boom! What's up? I just knocked you out because you were looking at my nipples.
Oh, snap.
Why? What's the point?
Kilmer started with the nipples because that's when Joel Schumacher came in. They teased us with the nipples there, but we didn't really notice them because they weren't so pronounced.
Just a little nip tease. By the time we got to Clooney, nipples were in full force.
Like, are we really doing this? We're doing this.
Or maybe they were really pronounced because Mr. Freeze was the villain. Did his bat nipples get more pronounced?
So was it thin enough that the cold made him go, ding?
Mr. Freeze rolled into town. And it was like, pew pew! Pew 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 pew! That just happened.
What about you guys? Who are your favorite costumes?
Yeah, what are your favorite superhero costume adaptations in live action?
And what are your least favorite? Let us know in the comments below or in tweets.
Do you agree that bat nipples are awful?
Or awesome?
Bat nipples. Awful or awesome? You decide. Don't forget to click that like button. Let us know that you like this video and you want to see more, just like it.
Make sure you tell all your friends. We want to spread the love of the Geek Soapbox.
And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It makes us really happy when you click that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. We'll see you right here real soon on the Geek Soapbox. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Over.